today I'm going to share with you guys the 5-step process that I've developed for myself that's going to take your wheel sketches to the next level. Since implementing this little hack, I've had more success with my wheel designs than ever before. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Jen and I'm a professional car designer and I love to share my passion for design and creativity. Today I'm going to share with you my personal 5-step process that you guys can use to take your wheel sketches to the next level fast. I'm going to walk you guys step by step personally through exactly what I do. Plus, if you guys watch all the way to the end, I'm going to give you guys a link for a free download to the wheel template that I created that I use personally. Okay, so step 1 of creating our wheel is we're going to be setting up our foundation. So I begin by creating my canvas. I like to do 5 inches by 5 inches at 200 DPI. So obviously I'm American, so I'm working in inches. If you're joining me from outside of the US, please feel free to convert that into centimeters if you need to. So 200 DPI is the resolution that I find works best for me. So the reason is it's good enough resolution that I can actually print things in real life full size, and they look crisp, they look great coming off the printer, and it keeps the file from getting too heavy by having too much data in it. So the next thing that I want to do is I turn on my guides and then I turn on my rulers. So the reason for this is we're going to create crosshairs. You're going to click on your ruler and drag out to the center of your canvas. Make sure you use your ruler to center that line both horizontally and vertically. And what this is going to do is this is going to give us a point right in the center of our canvas that's true center. That's going to allow us later to rotate things around that center point and make the rendering process so much easier. And this is going to give us our true center point on our canvas. So next I'm going to start setting up my base proportional elements, and these are going to act as my guide as I start to sketch the rest of the wheel. So I'm going to select our shape tool. I'm going to choose the circle and go ahead and make a circle on my canvas that touches all the edges. And what this is going to be is our guide for the outside edge of our wheel. We're going to do this again, copy that circle and shrink it down a little bit. That's going to create the guideline for the inside edge of our rim. So we're going to do this one more time, create another circle, shrink it down, place it right in the center, and that's going to be the guideline for our center hub. Okay, so step 2, we start to get into the fun part. We get to sketch our design. So what you want to do is you want to select your paintbrush tool. You want to get it ready to start sketching, but before you do, you want to turn on your symmetry, and you want to go down and select Mandala Symmetry. So what this is going to do, as you can see, as you start sketching, it's automatically going to start to duplicate your lines all the way around the wheel so that you can see the whole design as you're sketching just one section of it. So you're going to start to see your sketch all the way around the wheel, even though you're only sketching one little piece of the wheel. So at this point, you get to focus, do a little bit of sketching, and try to create a design that you like. So now we're on step 3, and this is where we start to fill in our base shapes. So the first shapes that we need to fill is our main circles. So once we get that done, we're actually going to select the circle that represents the inside of our rim, and we're going to use our filters to blur it. So what this is going to do is it's going to start to show us a little bit of shadow and depth to the wheel. Alright, step 4. This is where we start filling in the shapes that we've sketched, and you actually get a feel for what your design looks like. So I use pads quite often. It's a nice way to get a clean, crisp shape and a nice clean edge, as opposed to drawing everything by hand. So I'm going to use pads, and I'm going to trace out the shape of my spoke, and then I'm going to fill it. So once you have that shape and you're happy with it, now we're gonna start to duplicate it. So Control J or just duplicate layer. And then we're gonna start to rotate it. So you wanna drag your pivot point, right, to the center of that crosshair that we created earlier. That's in the center of our canvas. So this part is key. You wanna make sure that that pivot point is exactly on that crosshair that you created. So what that's gonna do is create the point of rotation that our shape is gonna start to rotate around. So depending on how many spokes you wanna have on your wheel, determines how many degrees of rotation you wanna type in. So I'll give you guys a quick cheat sheet here. Basically, you take 360 degrees, which is a full circle, and you divide it by the number of spokes that you want to do. So 360 divided by 5, 360 divided by 6, or 360 divided by 7, so on and so forth. And that's going to give you the number of degrees that you need to type in. Okay, so once you get your first spoke duplicated and rotated, you're just going to go ahead and repeat that process all the way around the wheel. So every time I render a wheel, I've gotten in the habit that I just render them with the light source from directly above. So what this means is all of the surfaces in your wheel that are facing upward are going to be the ones that are lighter in tone. They're going to be the ones catching the light. The ones that are facing outward are going to be kind of your mid-tones. And then the ones that are facing down towards the ground, those are going to be your darkest tones. Those are the ones that are going to be in shadow. So now we're going to start to create the dish to our wheel, which is showing the form going inward. We're going to do this by adding highlights and adding shadow to the main form. So we're going to do this by creating a circle and then blurring it. And we're actually going to start to erase away half. So what this is going to show is that the light is coming from above. So the upper half of the wheel where it's going inward is going to be in shadow. So once we've got that done, we're actually going to duplicate that layer. I'm gonna invert it, Control I, which is gonna change it from dark to light. And then I'm gonna flip it and make it work so that it is the highlight on the bottom of the wheel. Okay, so finally we're on step 5, and this is the fun part where you actually start to see your wheel coming to life. We're gonna start rendering in our highlights and our shadows and really start making it look three-dimensional. So the thing you wanna keep in mind while you're rendering, once again, we have our light source coming from directly above. So as you're starting to define the sculpture on your spokes, remember any surface that's going to be facing upward is going to be the one that's catching the light. It's going to be lighter in shade. Any surface that's facing outwards, sideways, is going to be a mid-tone. And any surface that's facing downwards is going to be the one that's catching shadow. So that's going to be the darker ones. So just follow that rule as you're starting to define what the sculpture is of your spokes. Now we've gotten to the point where we're really happy with our render. We're just gonna take things up a notch by adding in some more details. These are gonna be things like adding in lug nuts if your wheel has lugs. If your wheel has covered lugs, you can add things like a cut line showing where the cover is. You can add logos, you can add graphics. Any little extra detail like that at the end is just gonna take the sketch up a notch. So here it is, this is my finished sketch. And I hope you guys were able to find my process helpful, and hopefully you're able to apply it to your own workflow. So as I promised at the beginning of the video, I've actually created a free template to help you guys out. This template will actually allow you to remove the whole first step from the process. So you'll skip straight into step 2 and it'll make the process even faster for you. It's going to give you all of the base shapes already set up on the canvas so that you can start sketching right away. So if you guys want to download this template, you can get it on my website. It's jenbacher.com/resources, and I'll put a link to it down below for you guys. If you guys do use the template to make your own wheels, please post them up and tag me on social media. That way I can see what you guys are creating. Thanks again. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you found this helpful. If you guys have any questions, I would love if you could post them in the comments for me down below, and let me know if there's anything you want to see in a future video or tutorial.